Yes, very good morning. Myself is Nikhil Kumar. I am the assistant professor in the IT department, Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Today, I have the lecture of the big data. That the code is the BCS061, and we will discuss. It is basically the second lecture of this series. We already taken the first lecture that is based on the introductory part of big data. So we will again start from this topic, and then we will continue to the next term that we will discuss in these lectures. What is the introduction of big data? So firstly, what is the learning objective regarding the content of that we are providing? That is the definitions of the big data, the challenges we face of the big data, why big data is used. We already discussed in the first lecture that what is the private data, small data, or the concept of the big data is introduced by the when the data is periodically updated to its latest in the past data. The next one is the traditional business intelligence versus the big data concept. The learning outcome will be to understand the significance of big data, to understand the other characteristics of data that are no definition characteristic of the big data, and so on. To understand what is new in this time period, what is the new in the content of the big data. So in the very short, the concept of big data comes from the variety of data that exists, and we manipulate and update these type of data frequently, and when we require such type of data, it will have the huge structure formation due to its limitations and some structure resultant value. The static database will not manipulate such type of data, so we will use it to add on some quality structure in the existing system. So we come to the switch to the big data concept, and all these type of things are done in the HDFS module that is known to the Hadoop distributed file system. The agenda regarding the HDFS or the big data concept is we have the point that this is basically the term that is based on the definitions of the big data, and it covers with the 3 point basically the volume of the big data files with the different structure will be too large to handle, and it will basically update the prior value time to time. The volume is too high. The velocity is basically the reflections of the data. Whatever we want to search, the time period it will evaluate, or we can say it generate by the raw data materials. It is also the dynamically update. Third one is the variety. We know that there are multiple data set can be exist which have the different format of the file structure format, because each file contains a different type of schema. So there exists in the content of the big data, there exists a multiple file which have the different type of formats. So there is a huge number of varieties available in the big data structure. What are the challenges we face during the big data to storage, to retrieve, and to do some operations regarding this? Why we big data? Because to handle or manipulate, update the static data in the database is too easy, but in the content of the variety of data which is updated very frequently is too typical task. In the definitions of big data, we have this is the particular definitions that big data is highly volume, highly velocity available, and the highly variety of information assets that demand for the cost effective innovative forms of information, and also proceeding for the enhanced insight and decision making for the upgradation of the existing system. I give you an example. Let's suppose we know that the Google Sheet applications and the spreadsheet is also the example of the big data file. Let's suppose we have a Google Sheet which we update earlier, but later on we need to update frequently a particular cell. So what's the value? The other candidate which wrongly view the second last detail of the Google Sheet will update to itself with the dirty read values. So what the concept of big data? If the data values is update to itself frequently, so all the time all the structures should be in the prior conditions such that the data available to all the particular nodes should be in consistent nature. That means the latest data will be available to all the particular nodes. For enhance the insight and decision making regarding the consent and the analysis of the particular database value. This is the volume structure that basically a huge amount of data are used in the content of the big data. So this is the formations where the how the data is stored particularly in the such formations. That means what will be the structured formations and what will be the size to store in the particular database. The velocity is used how upgradations values are generated, and when the data is generated from the raw data base, how it will be processed for the next process. In the content of the data analytics, basically we use the concept of the big data for analytics values which generate the statistics value regarding the particularly existing tools. We know that the data regarding the database is formalized into the three broad area. First one is the structured data formation, second one is the semi-structured, and third one is the unstructured database. In the structured database, we traditionally follow the concept that is based on the row and table columns, row and column values, that is basically depend on the generated in the data set value in the tabular form, and it is also the relatively easy to handle. That is the concept of the DBMS and the RDBMS. Both are relatively easy, and it is the static type of data is also the content of the static database system. So it is known to be the structured data. The second one is the semi-structured data that contains the hypertext markup language, that is a part of the HTML and XML. That is the broad area point. The third one is the unstructured data which contains the values which is highly available in the internet facility and update frequently, and it includes the values that is the text document, audio file, video files, email, photos, PDFs. Also the social media applications that are available. Social media applications database is also the formalized in the unstructured data. And I want to give a figure that this type of data, that means unstructured type of data, contains the around 80% of data that are present on the internet is are of the type of the unstructured data. The 10% are of the type of the structured formation, and 10% that is available in the through the server is are of the type of the semi-structured formations. The other characteristics of the database is known to be the 3V concept of the big data, where the first one is the veracity and the validity, which reflect the huge amount of data that are available, how it will be reflect in the term of the generations. Let's suppose there exists a number of raw data that are present. So how it will be execute and to manipulate for the statistics value, how it will be recall through the analytics value. So that is known to be the veracity, and a huge amount of data will be used for the resultant value. Let's suppose we have an input of a huge amount. After process, we need to deliver such data into the particular domain, which is very necessary to update its value. That is the input values, input data, and it is the output. It is based on the statistics value. So the process is very fast to execute, and that are the part of the this one. The volatility means we have the large volume of data that exists with the different file format. So variability is also exist, because it may be that some file are of the type of the concept of the it may be the image file, it may be the video file, audio file, text file, PDF file, that may be the PPT, it's a white paper, and the Google form, spreadsheet. So these type of files also be available in the different formations of the variability. What are the challenges we face during the complete big data structure? This is replicate here with the formation of the capturing, storage, quotation, search, analysis, transfer, visualization, privacy violations. Firstly, the term that I discussed here, that is the capturing. The capturing stands for the word that how much data we are using for the raw data, from the raw data that are present, and how we will be manipulate, and for the analysis purpose, how we will use such type of data. We firstly require the how it will be stored in the server side. So that are the very big challenge that we face, because the data are of the type of the multiple source, and it is of the multiple different type of files versions are available, and sometimes it will be update to it the last values. Let's suppose it is a Google sheet. First time we update this cell as A, and next time we update it by B. So we need the updated values. So frequently the data can be changed, and how we will manipulate this thing into the congested connected the existing value. That means, let's suppose firstly after taking the input, we take the values A. After processing, the resultant value should be reflected to the B in the analytics value, that should be B. So it will be too challenge, because data predictably update. The searching or mapping is too difficult, because in the static data, whatever we will exist in the particular system will be reflect later on, but in the concern point of the big data content, the data are of the type of multiple source, multiple file are available, and the particular data are change update itself with multiple time. So analysis is also different and difficult. So these are the point that are we face during the challenges of the big data for storage, mapping, and analysis. These are the source of the big data, that are the media files available, document, business applications, social media, public websites, machine log data, sensor data, and archives. All such type of data are stored, that are the part of the big data. These type of data is used as the raw data for the big data content. It upgrade to itself and give the new content that is based on that particular data, because it is the input data. Firstly, this is the multiple type structure with the huge amount content. It is the input data. After more accurate analysis, that means from this data we physically manipulate. After analysis and processing, we give the particular analytics value, analysis value, and by default what we will do, because the data that are available in the statistics formations in the content of the big data, it is dynamically update to itself value. So what's happen, let's suppose just like we take an example like Google sheet, the second last result and the latest value will also manipulate and also be discussed in the updated value of the big data. So we take the concept of the big data for the periodically update its value and how it will be manipulate the whole system. What we will do, basically we have the static database and we have the concept of the big data, that update big data. This is the existing system. Through this, when we manipulate this thing into the existing system, we introduce the concept of this term, and we content with the features of the directly upgradations of value that are existing. What will be the operations we use? We have the concept to the manipulations purpose, HDFS, Hadoop distributed file system, operational system, through the MapReduce, Hive, HBase are the concept. Data warehouse use, data mart, and the ODS. So this is the particular existence of the data warehouse that is. So for today, thank you class to attend these lectures. In the next lectures, we will move on to some extra another topics regarding the big data. So thank you class.